In the heart of the Kruger National Park, a crisis is unfolding. Early May this year, over 120 vultures and a single elephant were poisoned and burned. The latest in a string of targeted killings that threaten to wipe out South Africa's most vital scavengers. Conservationists say this is not just an attack on wildlife, but a threat to human health, biodiversity, and the very balance of the ecosystem.
You know, what is a huge concern is how the vulture population is under threat. The vultures are classified as endangered, and if this carries on, if this poisoning carries on, we might see a day where you don't see vultures anymore, and that's going to affect, that could be like you will talk to your kids one day and say, when we used to come to Kruger we saw so many vultures, but now when you come there they're extremely rare. It's like that's where we're heading if we carry on with this at the rate of poisoning that's happening at the moment.
The first day we arrived at 8:30 and I left here at sunset, so I left at 6 in the evening. So 8:30 in the morning till 6 in the evening we were on site. The following day John actually came up with rangers again to do a follow-up inspection. I think they found one live bird and a couple more dead birds which were burnt in another position. So it was a 2-day operation to clean up the site. We're treating the first bird about 300 meters away from here. And as we would walk along, we would find another bird and another bird. And very quickly, I think within the first 10 minutes, we already had 8 or 9 birds. And at that point, once they're treated, you put them down and they start to want to move away. So the field rangers started helping out by holding birds down and keeping them from flying away. And then thankfully, shortly after that, the first helicopter arrived with all backup support. And the vets climbed out and we just started finding birds everywhere. Every bush had a bird underneath it. In the open there were birds, and you would treat them, put them down, and by the time you look up, the next field rangers arrived with another live bird.
As a rehabilitation center, even though we're big, like John mentioned, we've been treating poisoned birds for over 3 decades. We were never faced with the challenge of having to rehabilitate 84 birds. So even just getting ready for that to arrive was a bit of a challenge. We luckily had some of the team from Wildscapes veterinarians and other veterinarians that came to advise me on site, so we could get everything ready that by the time the birds arrived, which was very late at night, we could immediately continue treatment there. And that night we actually had almost 9 qualified veterinarians, not only from Moholo Holo site, but from, like I said, Wildscapes Veterinary Services, Brenner Veterinary Services, that helped us to continue treatment. The treatment is quite straightforward. It's easy, but it's simple, but it's not easy, because you have to treat them every 1.5 to 2 hours. And you can imagine with 84 birds, by the time you almost finish with the last one, you're already behind to treat the first one again.
Government can do a lot, even a lot more, but also the communities. We all need to take responsibility. It's a societal issue. As far as the poisoning is concerned, I think we need stricter control with poisons. We need to control what types of poisons we have better. The more dangerous poisons perhaps should be banned, like they are banned in Europe and America. We need to look at control measures in place where the pesticides are used. So if they're used in agriculture, the control of those poisons needs to be very strict, and there should actually be harsh penalties if they are misused or not controlled properly. I think that's a very important thing. I think we need to highlight to our communities how dangerous these poisons are. We had a very bad poisoning scene where some children died in Johannesburg. That's the same kind of poisons that are used in this wildlife poisoning. It's those organophosphates that are used, same type of poison. pesticide. So we need strict control of those and perhaps harsh sentences